of all, I have to confess I didn't know what Zenger House was. So I never heard of these folks before, but thank you.
I almost deleted the email.
This is spam, and they're going to ask me for my credit card information.
I was very much surprised. Honestly, I didn't know about your foundation.
No, I wasn't familiar with Zenger House before you had reached out to me, and I just didn't know what it was. I thought, who is this person? I'm going to have to look this. That's the cynicism part of me, where I'm like, is this a scam? Are they going to ask me for my social security?
First of all, I had to check that this wasn't some, spammy kind of, someone tried to scam me, because it's not every day I receive, notification of winning a prize. If I'm hand on heart honest, I hadn't even realized it existed.
Everybody is under time constraints.
We had pressure to kind of produce and be fast about it.
Only new things attract our attention.
And if your model is, well, we're just going to take Google ads and try to maximize the number of clicks we get on a particular piece, then sort of outraged, angry political commentary is a very, very economically effective way to do that.
Now, everything is driven by metrics and how many clicks and how long someone reads a story for. And
sometimes you just feel like you're churning out stories into the ether. And
so many people have lost work. So many newspapers have just constricted horribly.
Really dark moment for journalism, when a lot of local journalism has all but disappeared, and when the business model that held this industry together has been crumbling.
I see a culture and a society that silences truth. I see a cancel culture that doesn't allow people to report on with moral clarity on what's really going on.
That's the problem. In a world that's increasingly dominated by clickbait media, by sort of, hot takes all the time, and that kind of jostling for space in the social media world, there is a real danger that the long form, more carefully curated forms of journalism suffer.
And the reporting for years has ended up getting kind of pushed aside by the political commentary. In some ways, the problems with media in the United States are demand-driven, that there are people out there who just want affirmation. They want confirmation bias.
I've always been in journalism because I love great stories.
Good stories always resonate with people. Redemption stories always resonate with people.
It is, at its best, it's a way of truth telling, and that's what we need in our culture.
But if all you knew was Fox News and MSNBC and talk radio and social media, you would think that we lived in a profoundly dysfunctional country, and that we were on the brink of civil war and poverty, and there are breadlines. But it's also a country that's doing really well in a lot of ways.
Remembering that what we do is important and can bring change, can open people's eyes up, can kind of give them a new perspective.
It's not saving the world overnight. It takes a lot of time. It's not sexy. It's very unnoticed frequently, but that is where the real social change comes from, and it's long lasting.
Good journalism, obviously, is about more than just reporting facts. It's about bringing people along on a journey that hopefully, is objective, but at the same time is entertaining.
My mission, I think, is actually to give faces, or to replace statistics with faces and human stories.
But I think you need the actual people and the faces and to create empathy, or to understand what this actually means in real life.
At the same time, I think there are opportunities that never existed when I was in journalism school.
You get away from that commodity eyeballs view of things, and where you're actually trying to sell a product to readers in a very direct way, then that really puts the financial and economic focus back on doing good journalism.
We can expose something, if we can shine a light on something, then maybe we can really grapple with it, and maybe we can really change it is hopeful for me.
Saying, I'm going to look at the world, I'm going to report on it, but I'm going to do it from this stance that there is hope, that actually there is the possibility of redemption, that every story can be turned around.
But being an optimist still is a plus and makes a difference, because optimism is contagious. So, I mean, the optimist helps to survive.
The idea that, he will make all things new, that he will redeem all things, and that at any rate there is this end that God is promised that is somehow linked to what we're doing right now.
There's a bigger picture. There's a God behind all the events going on in our culture. And for me, that means I'm never going to give up hope. Wow, this is for real now. This is happening. So
a recognition like this, which didn't, at least for me, didn't come from the usual place, I think is really wonderful, because I think what it does first and foremost is it says journalism is important, and we should care about it, and we should invest in it. And
all the ideas and efforts of your foundation, of Zenger Foundation, are extremely important. And actually, it's about untold stories or not properly told stories. So as a storyteller, I understand the importance of every story to be told in every detail and to the very end.
And to me, that's kind of the role of journalism anyway. You go against the prevailing winds, or as much as you need to, as much as those prevailing winds are there.
Zenger is another one of those characters from American history who was willing to buck the official power at the time. And I guess he was in jail for 8 or 9 months before he finally got sprung on his libel case. And I've never done anything like that, but it's important that we remember the people who are kind of our intellectual and professional forebears for whom that was a reality. And important that we keep in mind that it is a reality for other people elsewhere in the world right now. I'm
thrilled about the idea that you honor independent journalists who follow no matter where the reporting leads.
Without organizations like Zenger House that are doing this, it becomes very hard to move a career forward if you're not reporting the way everybody else is reporting.
While I research and write on evangelicalism, I often the strongest pushback I get in my against what I write or against my research comes from evangelical circles. So it's very gratifying to be to have that effort recognized in some way.
As a medical missionary, people expect my content to be meaningful, and when they talk to me, they talk about my content being meaningful. But as a reader and as a person that likes to write in various forms, the form and the style matter actually a ton to me. So having someone say, we looked through a whole bunch of articles and we chose 10, and yours is one of the ones that we want to award a prize to you, made me feel like that both of those sides were appreciated, which was really fun for me.
When you're producing content, you never really know who's out there, who's listening, if anyone's out there, if anyone's listening, if you're making an impact at all. And when I saw that Zenger House had identified my podcast as being something worthwhile and worthy of a prize, it felt great about it.
I mean, I was, first of all, very honored that the story had gotten to you and that you were moved by it.